Hi, friends. I'm back. I thought that maybe I'll try this every other night thing with reading chapters from my book Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then maybe Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays I'll do a little diet update or any other things that I might just be thinking about or popping into my head that I want to share with y'all. So anyway, about my diet and the potatoes only thing, yeah, that only lasted one day. It didn't make me feel spectacular, so I decided not to do that any longer. That's not to say that potatoes aren't still a main component of my meals or some of my meals, and they will continue to be, but I'm consuming more than just potatoes now. So anyhow, the good news is I'm down another half pound this morning, so I'm moving in the right direction, so that's a good thing. Um and and I did not give in to my temptation to buy animal products. So we went grocery shopping today, which we do pretty much once a week. And as you know, as I mentioned in my last diet update, I've been tempted the last few days to try going back to consuming some animal products and see how I feel. But I decided to resist the temptation and stick with my commitment to do at least a full year of whole food plant-based. I really do feel like I can, this is a lifestyle for me. This isn't a diet. Like everything else in my life has mostly been a diet, and I really do feel like I can make this a lifestyle. Like I can eat like this for the rest of my life as long as I get the results I'm looking for and I'm feeling good in my body and I'm having good energy, getting good sleep and all that good stuff. So we'll see how those things all factor in. But so I was telling a friend yesterday and kind of this morning about the blue zones. Are you familiar with the blue zones? The blue zones are seven, I believe it's seven areas around the world where by per capita they have the most centenarians. And if you don't know what a centenarian is someone who's lived to at least 100 years old, and some significantly past 100. So I'm really curious about that. My biggest thing about diet is health and longevity. I don't want to just live a long life, and exist. I want to thrive. So, I don't want to just survive. So I want to truly live. So I'm really curious and intrigued by people who have lived long lives and maintained excellent health and vitality. So, and that's what the blue zones are about. Dan Buettner is a researcher and an author who has traveled around the world to these blue zones and interviewed some of these elders to find out, to learn from their background and their experience to find out what makes them tick. Are there any secrets to longevity and having a long, healthy life? And there are some commonalities. And so I found it really interesting. I watched a video last night about the blue zones and their diet in particular. And one of the things that I noticed, and this kind of goes along with my personal philosophy for life, is that in the first place, they're not following a diet. They're not dieting. None of them really dieted. They just eat locally what's in season, basically. And it just so happens that turns out to be a predominantly plant-based, whole food plant-based diet. But here's the interesting part. It's not like a religion for them, like almost across the board in all the blue zones. These people who've lived really long lives and been healthy and maintained their mental capacity and everything else, they also consume animal products about 5 or 6 times a month. So they're not vegans, and they're not carnivores, and they're not following a keto diet. Their lifestyle is just such that they're mostly eating whole food, plant-based, with some animal products, and they're not afraid of fats either. And so that really resonates with me. That's like, that feels right. You know, my ancestry is Swedish on my mom's side, and on my dad's side, they are all basically from England, so Northern European. And it's just always made sense to me, whether or not there's anything to this blood type diet thing. I don't know about your blood type, but it has always made sense to me, as I've mentioned in other videos, that you probably will do best eating the foods that your DNA was built on, right? So like where your ancestry comes from seems like makes you more susceptible to or more likely to thrive eating foods that your DNA was built on. That's all. So, for instance, you know, my particular DNA, I'm probably not going to do really great eating a 100% raw food, tropical foods diet, because that's completely foreign to the environment where my ancestors came from. So I'm probably going to do better with like foods that grow in or that are abundant in the northern climates. And so throughout the whole winter, you know, my ancestry didn't freaking eat pineapple and bananas and coconut, you know. My ancestors primarily hunted and ate, you know, meat that was available in the wintertime and stuff that was able to be stored from the growing seasons. So, you know, and like potatoes and you know, some lentils like beans, you know, and very little fruit, like very little fruit. Like really like lingonberries, you know, and like not that much fruit. Some root vegetables and, you know, some cabbages and stuff, but not a lot of fresh greens except for in season. And, you know, I'm sure some breads for sure, but, you know, whole like ancient grains and stuff, you know. So anyway, I just find that really interesting, and that makes a lot of sense to me. So we didn't buy any animal products at the grocery store today. I am still sticking with my whole food plant-based plan. But I was talking to Jeff tonight about the fact that, you know, about the blue zones, about the fact that, you know, these long-lived people around the world thrive because, I mean, part of it is that they allow themselves to eat some meat products a few times a month. Maybe there are nutrients, you know, that we don't get when we're just only eating exclusively whole food plant-based. So anyhow, that's something that was on my mind tonight. Another time I will leave another video for you about my background in diet and nutrition. I actually studied to become a health coach for 6 months back in 2012. Because I'm really highly interested in not just whole food nutrition, but in health and nutrition, diet for nutrition, not as a religion. So anyhow, I just wanted to leave this message with you and let you know that I'm going to be trying to make videos more frequently and share my thoughts with you. So we'll see how that works out, but I just wanted to pop in again and say hello and let you know how things are going with me, and also that I would love to hear back from you if you feel aligned with what is going on in my world. So anyhow, thanks for spending these few minutes with me. I'll be back tomorrow night with another reading, the first reading from book 2, The Kidnapping King, in my Jack and the Magic Hat Maker series. So I hope you'll join me for that. I'm pretty excited to dig back into that. It's been a while since I wrote it, so I'm excited to dig back in and read that to you. All right, have a great rest of your evening, and then I will look forward to reading to you tomorrow night. Take good care. Go ahead and subscribe and do all the things if you like my content. I'll talk to you soon.